pharmacy is not just like something local or something you can think of on a national level, but if you do have that mindset, you can think on a regional or even a global level. But it's a really good way to sort of make friends. And one of the things I would say is, if you feel like you want to do something, just do it. Because a lot of the times you're very hesitant to do something, but from that it can lead to a lot more opportunities and a lot more sort of encounters you would never expect if you didn't make that first initial step.
Welcome back to the BPSA Beyond Dispensary podcast. Today I'll be talking to Hassaan, who's the Regional Media and Publications Officer at the IPSF and also a trainee pharmacist. Listen to find out all the places he's been to, who he's met and how you can get involved too. He'll also be sharing his advice along the way. Hi Hassaan, welcome to the podcast.
So my name's Hassaan. I'm currently a trainee pharmacist. I'm doing my trainee in hospital, so I'm doing 9 months in hospital, and also I have a 3 month community split coming up. And I was part of the BPSA while I was at uni. I went to the University of Huddersfield. My roles within BPSA were quite limited. I was the BPSA liaison officer for Huddersfield. I moved on to being the student exchange officer, which is a role within BPSA, but also part of a wider organization called the IPSF, or the International Pharmaceutical Student Federation. And the IPSF was an organization I had a lot more involvement in. And within IPSF, I was the student exchange officer. I was also part of the regional media and publications team for the European regional office. And I am currently serving as a regional media and publications officer for the European regional office.
Wow, that sounds really cool. In your role, what's your sort of like day-to-day activities? What do you get up to and what do you get involved in?
So as a regional media and publications officer, my role is in charge of all the different social medias as well as the publications that IPSF publish. So my day-to-day normally looks at managing my team. So my team consists of 3 regional content coordinators, a social media coordinator, a website coordinator, and a quality control coordinator. So normally within the team, I will delegate tasks, but also help out with the different social media posts. So recently we've just posted our monthly calendar, which goes through all the different projects and initiatives we have for the month of January. Also looking at publishing the first edition of our quarterly newsletter. So starting on that, as well as a showcase of all the different organizations within IPSF and what they've been up to for the past couple of weeks. I also have quite regular meetings within IPSF, so collaborating with the different regional officers, as well as different subcommittees of the regional working group, mainly working closely with the projects officer, as well as the relations officer, and helping with their tasks in regards to publishing their work as well.
Wow, that's really amazing. So what initially inspired you to get involved with IPSF?
So I kind of fell into IPSF, if I'm being honest. When I was in my first year of university, we had like a portfolio thing we had to do where we had to do some like additional training that wasn't part of the university. So like just watch a webinar or go on a course or mini course or something. And I was looking at a BPSA webinar which had to do with going to the regional symposium, which in 2021 was in Turkey. So it was just going through what the symposium's about and what IPSF is about, and I found it really interesting. And to me, it kind of sounds like a free holiday, if I'm being honest. So I thought, why not? Let me see what it's about, and let me see if I'm allowed to go. So I managed to like convince the family to let me go because I'd be going alone. And I really enjoyed it. It was an amazing opportunity. I got to meet so many wonderful people, and like there was networking opportunities. There was also like professional development opportunities. So I took part in a compounding competition. I took part in a counseling competition. So there was also like a lot of keynote speakers from various different companies throughout Europe, and it really put into perspective that pharmacy is not just like something local or something you can think of on a national level, but if you do have that mindset, you can think on a regional or even a global level. And there's so many different opportunities out there. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed. I kind of took on different roles. I went to different countries. I got to go to a lot of different conferences and seminars and stuff. And yeah, it was a kind of built on from there, and I've enjoyed every step of the way.
That's really amazing. So you mentioned it just there. What were some of the destinations that you got to go to, and what was your favourite one?
I started off with Turkey, so that was the first symposium. Then my second regional symposium that I went to was in Switzerland, and then I got to go to the World Congress, which was in South Korea. I also did a student exchange program, so I did that in Australia, and then I was part of the regional symposium for when it came to the UK, and as part of my committee role, then I got to travel to different conferences. I got to go to Northern Ireland, and I went to like within the UK. I went to like London, Manchester a few times as well. So I got to travel quite a bit. Um, yeah, it's
Really cool. I know traveling might seem quite intimidating. So if there's someone thinking maybe they want to get involved with it, what are the kind of pieces of advice that you give with someone?
so yeah, traveling can be very daunting, especially if you're not doing it with somebody you already know. So on my first few trips, I did kind of go alone, and it was very much a, you know, a new world to me completely. Like going on a flight alone, going to the airport alone, staying with people you don't really know. But it's a really good way to sort of make friends. And one of the things I would say is, if you feel like you want to do something, just do it. Because a lot of the times you're very hesitant to do something, but from that it can lead to a lot more opportunities and a lot more sort of encounters you would never expect if you didn't make that first initial step. And normally the first step is always the scariest step. But also for those that can't travel for whatever reason it might they have for whatever reasons they have, there is a lot of opportunities that you can do from your own bedroom nowadays. Like just sitting at home. We have the entire world at our fingertips with the internet, and not just through IPSF or BPSA, but other companies and organizations out there. They have online webinars and they have hybrid events, and you can start with them where you can attend the event over Teams or over Zoom, and then slowly build your way up. And then once you sort of feel more comfortable going out there, then you can go out there. And also start locally. Go to local events first. Um, if you're in the UK, we have the pharmacy show every year. That's a really good one to start off with. You also have a lot of you have BPSA annual conference. That's another really good one to start with, especially if it's within a university close to where you already live, so you don't have to travel as far. And if you take them baby steps, it makes it a lot easier to do the big jumps later.
Yeah, thank you for that. And if there's something that you've learned now that you wish you knew back at the start, what sort of advice would you give someone, or what would that be?
I would say it is just to seek out those opportunities that you don't necessarily hear about from your teachers or from university itself. You're only at uni for 4 years, and those 4 years go by very, very quickly. As much as sometimes they seem to drag, once the 4 years finish, you feel like it was just a few dream. You think back and you be like, I can't believe this much time has passed. And the people that I speak to, the ones that really, really look back at uni and have really fond memories of university are those that sort of did things outside of university. And it doesn't have to necessarily be pharmacy related. If you have a hobby or you have something you're very passionate about, seek those opportunities, look for those opportunities and find a community where you can sort of, do that on a regular basis. And pharmacy is a very stressful degree. It's a very stressful career. So having something that you're really passionate about or something that you really enjoy makes life like just a lot more easier, makes your day to day a lot more easier as well. Um, Obviously, it can seem like a very daunting task, or it can feel like, you have so much going on, especially when you speak to some people and you kind of feel like they've got more than 24 hours in your day. I get told that a lot. But that only happens when you sort of seek those opportunities out and you sort of just go for it, essentially. So my word of advice would be just go for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Absolutely. Are there any events coming up that people can get involved with, or is there anything going on now?
Yeah, so we have quite a few actually. Regionally, we'll have our regional symposium, which happens every July. So this year it will be in Norway. Um, The registrations for that haven't opened just yet, but they are due to open within the next month or so. There is an Instagram page that you can follow, which has all the information about the different phases for on how you can register if you are interested, what the fees will be, how much it costs, what each package includes. Obviously, from BPSA side, there is also the annual conference coming up, which is a very exciting opportunity for somebody who's very new to this space of pharmacy, and it's a really good opportunity to sort of get your feet wet and see what a student association is all about, and then you can build onto IPSF from there. We also have the student exchange program, which runs on a yearly basis. So we usually have the winter set and we have the summer set. So summer set is usually between May and or April, May, September time, till about September, October time, sorry. Um, and that's an opportunity for you to pick a country you want to go to. You can do a 2 week to 6 month, 6 week exchange, um, depending on the host, depending on what sectors are available. So you can do it in hospital, in community, in research, in academia as well, I believe. And each host country has its own sort of requirements. So there's also a website, the IPSF Student Exchange website, which you can look up all the information about all the different countries if you are interested. And then we also have the World Congress coming up. So World Congress this year will be in Thailand. That will be in August, and that will be 10 days long, which will include a lot of different opportunities to sort of develop your professional skills through competitions. There'll be workshops, there'll be seminars, there'll be networking opportunities. There'll also be sort of a social side to things. So you have different social nights that go on, a chance to explore Thailand. You also have the post Congress tour, which is a bit more, which is all social, and just an opportunity to sort of get to know the country of Thailand as well. Um, and yeah, and we also have multiple webinars and programs and different opportunities throughout the coming months. So in January, we have our research event on how to become a researcher and sort of how to delve into the world of pharmacy research.
They sound really amazing and all around the world as well. That's incredible. A new year means new opportunities, so why don't you get involved with the BPSA? Follow across all our social media pages to get involved with conferences, webinars, competitions, and more. Don't forget, our flagship event of the year, our annual conference, is coming up soon in April. So mark your calendars and make sure to follow for more. So, how do you manage your IPSF role as well as being a trainee pharmacist?
I'll be honest, it is a bit difficult at times, but the one thing about IPSF that I've really enjoyed is it's a student organization at heart, and it's a voluntary organization. So you are volunteering your time, and everybody within the organization is either a student, a recent graduate, or a newly qualified pharmacist. So everybody understands that you have things going on in your life, whether it be exams, whether it be work, and as long as it's communicated, everybody is more than happy for you to just take a step back, which makes managing your time and managing your workload a lot easier. To usually at the start of every Monday, so Monday it's run from October to October, you have like a training session as well. So IPSF trainers will go through time management skills. And when I went to my first few, I did learn a lot, and it actually helped a lot with my university as well because I became really good at scheduling, really good at organizing. Sorry. And sort of when it comes to my day to day, I'll sort of map out what I'm doing that day, and have like a diary ready, so I know exactly what meetings I have or what sort of workload I have, and I try and tick it off as I go throughout the day. Um, and I try to allocate like one day to myself, which is usually on a Saturday where I just don't do anything, and it's kind of like a bit of a reset day. Obviously, I have my registration exam coming up, so that's kind of my day to just revise for a bit, chill for a bit, give myself a break because it is very important as a student and as a trainee, that as much as this degree is very important, as much as if you choose to take a role within BPSA and IPSF, it's important you do your workload. You are still a person, and you still do need breaks, and you still do need like time for yourself. One thing I've learned a lot during my training year, especially from more senior pharmacists, is if you make work your life, or if you make pharmacy your entire life, it kind of becomes very hard to separate that from yourself. And then even when you're at home, you'll be thinking about work, and it's just not very healthy. So that's what I try to do to manage my time.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned that balance there. That's really amazing. So, would you say IPSF has helped you to become a better pharmacist?
I would say so, yeah, actually. I can give a couple of examples of that. So, when I was on my student exchange, one of the things I did, so I worked in a community pharmacy in South Australia, and then I went to the World Congress straight after that. So, when I went to the World Congress, they had like a counseling competition, which was inhaler techniques. So while I was at my student exchange program, I sort of practiced as much as I could. I was counseling patients, and then when I went to the competition, there wasn't just myself; it was students from all across the world. So everybody has sort of their own learning of like techniques, and they sort of learn different things when it comes to counseling. So it was really interesting to sort of learn from the other students as well. And then when I came into practice, so now working in hospital, especially when I was on the respiratory ward, it was really, really helpful because most of the time we sort of, on a more practical sense, we see like MDIs, we might see a DPI, but there's so many different versions of a DPI and not all of them work this same. They work very similarly, but having that experience on counseling a patient, having experience counseling somebody whose like, first language it wasn't English, also helped. You know, and also when you're at IPSF event, you sort of meet people from all sorts of different backgrounds. It really helps to build that communication and sort of team working. When it comes to meetings, I'll have meetings in the evening, which might overrun, or I might have to be a bit more flexible with my time given time zones. So it's helped a lot with my organization. It's helped a lot with my time management, which I do get praised at for work quite a bit because I'm able to sort of juggle a lot of tasks, especially when it comes to sort of like urgent discharges or if I'm having to do a drug history, but then something comes up or the ward really needs some controlled drugs ordering. Uh, I can sort of manage that a lot better, and I'm quite adaptable to different situations because I've had to sort of learn them skills as a student. Other things in terms of clinical knowledge, uh, I was really fortunate enough that within IPSF you spend a lot of time in research or you spend a lot of time in industry. So, which isn't something we really do in the UK. So, when it comes to my knowledge of different companies, how they work, different manufacturers, things like that, different regulatory bodies as well. So, MHRA is obviously local to the UK, but then we have the EMA, we have the FDA. Those are things that I've only learned because of the IPS.
Amazing, thank you. And where do you see yourself going in the next like 5, 10 years or so?
Ooh, that's a bit of a tough question to be honest. I think as a student, and most people who study with me will probably say that I've always wanted to be a hospital pharmacist, and it is the role I'm kind of going down right now. So I'd love to sort of continue that. But one thing that I sort of picked up a bit more of a passion for towards the back end of my degree and the back end of my studies was I really enjoy sort of the teaching element or the research element of pharmacy, and I would love to go down that route somewhere in the near future. Maybe not in the next 5 to 10 years, but maybe in the next 15 to 20. But I'd love to sort of build up my clinical experience working in either a hospital or primary care or a job that allows me to do both. But also uh, mainly because of IPSM, I've loved traveling and I love sort of exploring new countries. And one of the things that I do want to do is sort of continue with that. Obviously, IPSF is mainly for students, but there is an organization called the FIP, the Federation of International Pharmacists, where I can sort of continue that, go to their events as well. There's also a few UNESCO initiatives that are really interesting for me that I want to sort of pursue and see if I can explore any opportunities to do with them as well. Because I do want to sort of have that aspect of traveling still involved within my professional career. But the end game is probably stay clinical as long as possible and then go into academia.
Yeah, that's really amazing, thank you. Do you have any current goals within the IPSF now?
So I'd love to see my mandate be successful. So as the regional media and publications officer, I made a couple of uh, sort of key points in my manifesto. One of them was to sort of increase the engagement within our member organizations. We're very fortunate as part of the regional European regional office. We have about 35 different countries and about 150,000 pharmacy students, but obviously it's very hard to engage with every single one of them students. So I do want to sort of increase our engagement and explore different opportunities on how we could present ourselves on social media. It's something I'm working very closely with my team right now. And we're hoping to sort of start a few different projects. One of them being a showcase for member organizations, including like the BPSA, the um, and sort of highlighting the work that's done on the national level, because each association have such an amazing set of people that work with them or work for them, but also an amazing set of students that do so many different things that sometimes gets not like missed, or doesn't get highlighted as much as it should do, because there's just so many things going on. Um, and also it's a it's how I got into IPSF is because I went to a random webinar, I went to a random, online event. I just happened to be talking about something that I was like, well, that'd be interesting. And if we can put more and more of them things out there, then maybe there'll be another student in a couple of years' time, or maybe this year, who sort of becomes really interested and can take this even further. Um, so yeah, that's my aim for this year. And then moving forward, I'm not sure if how sort of if I want to go down a new role or not. I'd love to sort of see where it goes, but obviously I'll be at a stage where I'm working now, and it'll be a little bit more difficult being a part of a student organization as a pharmacist.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
So, as I mentioned, we do have our regional symposium coming up, and this is something I would love to sort of give a bit of advertisement for. It's one of our flagship events for the regional office, and it's one of the events I'm most proud of, because it came to the UK last year, and I was part of the reception committee. And i- if you are interested within international pharmacy, or you just want to sort of go to a different country and you want an excuse to travel, the regional symposium is one of the best events, I would say, to do that. Um, this year, as I mentioned, it'll be in Norway, so it'll be a week-long event in Norway, and the theme will be about pharmacies in different sectors. So it'll give you an opportunity, especially if you're somebody quite unsure about what you want to do as a professional pharmacist and what sort of sector you want to go into. This would be, in my opinion, a really good way for you to sort of understand all the different roles that are available for you as a pharmacist, and sort of how to get into those roles. And it's an amazing networking opportunity to make connections with different people, not just on a UK level, but on a European level. And I've known people who have gotten jobs or gotten PhDs because of these connections, and are now, living in a different country or working in a different country, or sort of traveling all over the world doing amazing, amazing things. And that only happened because they went to an event and they met somebody and they got talking. So I would highly recommend check it out. Check out all of our, social media pages. It's IPSF underscore Euro, so EURO on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and also TikTok. And then also the Euros page, so IPSF underscore EURS, or anything to do with the symposium.
Lovely. So how do you, as a student, access maybe a bit of more funding or extra support during these events?
That's a really good question, actually. So, while I was a student, it was quite, difficult to um, get funding at the university I was at, just because they didn't have a large pot. Um, However, the IPSF themselves offer a grant for different events. So usually it's one person's ticket, they will fully fund the ticket to the event. So that's usually one regular delegate and one official delegate. Official delegates are basically representatives of the country. Regular delegate is just somebody who's there for the symposium, and they'll pay for the ticket. All you have to really do is fill out an application, sort of saying your motivation for coming, and then after the event, sort of write a bit of an article on how you found the event and what you got to, and things like that. They also have different grants available for different research events that they do, but that's dependent on the time of year. And usually they also post about different scholarships or different funding opportunities from organizations within Europe or on a global level. Also, you can have a look at different organizations within the UK. Some of them do offer different like professional development grants, depending on what you're doing or what you wanting to get into. LinkedIn's a very good space for that. People post all the time about different things. I would recommend, if you're not already using LinkedIn, to sort of get on LinkedIn. Even if you don't use it actively, you'll probably find something on there that would benefit you both as a student or as somebody who wants to sort of progress into a certain aspect of their career.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I'm going to do some quick fire questions. That be okay with you?
Yeah,
Okay, so
sure.
what's your dream travel destination?
My dream travel destination. So I would love to do a road trip of all 50 states of the United States of America.
Very cool. And what was your favorite part of your degree?
So my favorite part of my degree I want to say, was my dissertation, because I did it in quite a unique subject and I really enjoyed it. Uh, and I was quite proud of the work I did.
Very cool. What did you do it in?
So I did mine on using creating an AI model to detect antimicrobial resistance. So creating like a model that sort of you can post an image and it'll be able to tell whether a resistant gene is actually within your sample or not, and making it quicker to determine which antibiotics to use for patients with MRSA.
Very cool. And do you study with or without music?
So I would say both. I tend to study. I'll be honest. I tend to study YouTube on. So I'll watch like a food travel video. Um, but if I'm like in the library or something, then I might have some music on. But most of the time, it's usually a travel video or a food video.
Very nice. And do you have any final piece of advice you give to students or trainees?
I would say enjoy it. It's enjoy what you're doing. Obviously, everybody's chosen this degree or this career pathway because it was something they wanted to do. Um, and at times it's very stressful. At times it's very difficult. You know, when you're doing certain modules or certain exams are coming up, or you have your OSCE, so you have your calculations. It can seem like the end of the world. It can seem like you're not gonna get through it, but you will get through it. It will be okay. And when you look back on it, you'll sort of think, I actually did that. I managed to get through it. So take the time to sort of be present and take the time to enjoy what it is that you're doing currently. So when you do look back on it, you can be like, yeah, I did that.
I think you summed it up very nicely. Thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. Hassaan has travelled the world unlocking countless opportunities and getting involved with different things, as well as opening up his skill set. He's built up skills beyond the dispensary and the classroom. Thank you very much for listening.